It is week number 12 of the high school football season, and tonight, the Eagles of Geneva made the trek southwest to Titletown to take on your two-time defending state champion Chardon Hilltoppers in round number 2 of the Division III Region 9 Ohio High School Athletic Association High School Football Playoffs. I'm Matt Jaworski alongside Ryan Radke as we get you set for this one. And Ryan, Hilltoppers, what a game last week against East. Smothering defense, and the offense put together a bunch of time-consuming drives.
Yeah, really strong game. You talked about the defense. The offense able to put a bunch of points on the board. You got a couple of safeties in that game, so you did all kinds of things well a week ago. I think the only thing they would have really wanted to clean up was those 5-yard procedural penalties. Hopefully those are more in line today as they head out here to take on a Geneva Eagles team. Matt, this is actually a rematch of a playoff matchup 2 years ago in the 2020 COVID season.
Absolutely, a rematch that Chardon won handily 57-13, and the Hilltoppers would love nothing more than to see that kind of score again as this game nears its end. Keep this in mind, folks. This could be a snappy little contest tonight. Both teams feature the wing T offense, so there will be a little bit of passing, not a lot. That means that we'll be seeing the clock running a little bit more than normal here at Chardon Memorial as the seniors prepare for one last time this season to defend the Hill. With that, we're going to step aside because the band is coming up next as we are set to embark on the final home game of the 2022 campaign here on GTV.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ashes Mayfield Window Cleaning Company, and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the 2022 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band. The band is being led onto the field tonight by Field Commander Evan Kuhl. And the Hilltopper Marching Band would like to thank all our band parents for their endless support, from chaperoning, purchasing instruments, donating, and volunteering. We couldn't do it without you. All right, Topper fans, put your hands together for the Chardon High School Fight Song. Would you now please stand if you are able, and gentlemen, remove your hats as we honor our country with the national anthem and remain standing for the Chardon High School alma mater. Hilltopper fans, put your hands together and shout "Hey" as the band performs the Hey Song.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Rognac Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ashes Mayfield Window Cleaning Company and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
And here come your two-time defending state champion Chardon Hilltoppers.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you as we get you set for this one. And Ryan, moments away from kickoff here. You look at this game, the winner advances to face the winner of Cheney and Kenston next week. You could arguably say it's one of the bigger games in a long time that the Eagles have played.
Yeah, it is. This is a big matchup for them. You know, they had an incredible comeback a week ago. They were trailing Gilmore 26-7 on the road in that playoff game last week, and they were able to come back and win. That was a big win for Geneva. And, you know, here they sit, second week of the playoffs. They have a number of wins on their schedule that maybe a lot of people wouldn't have given to them. So, yeah, big game for that program across the field tonight.
For the Hilltoppers, it is what has become a routine the last few years, making deep playoff runs. But you can't focus on next week. Got to focus on their opponent this weekend. Hilltoppers lost the coin toss. The Eagles elected to defer, so we'll see the Hilltopper offense out on the field to start this one. And we've seen the growth throughout this second half of the season. It was, and I think it's fair to say, a very frustrating first 5 games or so of the year, maybe even 6, if you will, for the Hilltoppers, as that young offensive line was growing and coming together. But each and every week, the last couple of weeks, we've heard from Coach Hewitt we've heard from different players on offense who they keep saying, we're getting a lot better very quickly, and it's close. And you look at a game like tonight, maybe this game tonight is where finally all the dots, if you will, get connected and things go to the way that offensive line wants it to be.
Yeah, you just got to keep coming out here every week and fighting and trying to get better as you go along. And every week you get deeper into the playoffs. It's a new challenge. It's a bigger challenge than the week before. And you just hope you can keep on getting better.
Kickoff taken around the right side, 20, 30, 35, and up near the 40. That is where the Hilltoppers will take over. It's Caleb Hewitt on the return. And out comes Alex Henry and that Hilltopper offense.
Well, and that's a good start as Hewitt gets his team out to the 41-yard line. A big play on the opening drive. So Geneva elects to defer. That's a shot of confidence from their head coach. It's on the Eagles. He expects them to be in this game at halftime. But if you're the Hilltoppers, that means you're getting the football first, a chance to, here at home, put the foot on the gas right away. A scoring drive and start to ratchet up that pressure on these Eagles.
Toppers will send two receivers out near side to left. Man going in motion. They will hand it off. WeWereAthletes left side breaks a tackle and gets close to the 49-yard line.
Nice run there by WeWereAthletes, able to get to the outside, pick up nice yardage, setting up second down and short.
Hilltoppers led by senior quarterback Alex Henry. Give that time is to A.J. Bruce, and a flag comes out late.
Oh, wait, see, I don't like where this flag is thrown. Yeah, it's going to go against the Hilltoppers over on that right side. They were able to open up enough for Bruce to pick up the first down. Unfortunately, there was a hole in the backfield to open that one up. That's all that we talked about the penalties a week ago, but they were procedural. The Hilltoppers avoided this. They really did a nice job a week ago of avoiding 10 and 15-yard penalties. Here's a 10-yard penalty here on the first drive.
Well, something that they had hoped to clean up. Henry, excuse me, and now Hilltoppers snapped that ball before the officials were ready for play to begin. Now it gives us the time to talk about some of the folks that we'll be seeing for Chardon. You look at the guys up front, Andrew Baggett, Treadell Graves, Dylan Jenkins, Mark Hall, Logan Bryant. That's the group that as this season has progressed has begun to really gel and really become more physical and has started to overtake opponents and wear them down. Henry from the gun, WeWereAthletes in motion, going to keep it himself, looks for an opening. Henry across the 40, out near midfield, and close to that first down marker.
Yeah, he had a big opening there as he had nice blocking in front of him. Saw Graves out there throwing a nice block to open things up, and of course, he ran behind his center, Jenkins. Nice job by the offensive line.
First and 10 from the 49. QB keeper again, this time going right side is Henry. Broke a few tackles and made his way up near the 43-yard line.
Able to get out around Logan Bryant, who threw a nice block there, picks up 6 yards, and the QB run is there for the Hilltoppers in the early going tonight.
Well, the running backs, and we're going to see a slew of them tonight when they get the opportunity to touch the ball. This time it's A.J. Bruce looking for a cut. He's going to try to get back on this right side of the field, but I think it's coming back. There's a flag near side. Picks up the first down on his feet, makes another cut, stumbles and bumbles. Loose ball on the field.
We'll wait and see. I don't like where this flag is thrown. And
Toppers will keep possession.
You think that if A.J. Bruce is able to completely turn around like that and run past people, someone had to be getting held somewhere, and I think that's going to be the call. Some players that got tangled up on that edge.
Holding against the Hilltoppers will move him back 5 yards from that spot of the foul.
So he'll go back behind the chains again. Of course, they just gave the ball to Alex Henry last time, and he took care of that.
Well, the running backs in this game, we'll see Zach Fay, Heath Fetchick, A.J. Bruce, Caleb Hewitt, Drago Vujaclia, Trey Liebhart a little bit. Now Liebhart and Bruce line up wideouts to the right. Two backs in the backfield. Split Henry. They fake the handoff. Henry looking to throw. Now he's going to tuck it and run it right side. Henry, running room. Henry out near the 40-yard line and close to that first down.
Henry does a nice job on the draw there, getting the defense starting to think about that throw. And what he did was he looked to his left. He was looking down at Columbia, and that got all the linebackers starting to move left. And that left the right side open for Alex Henry. He just ran for the right, a nice game. And like he did on 2nd and long previously, he gets the Hilltopper offense right back on schedule here at 3rd down and 3.
Derek Galinek, Zach Henneman. We'll see some Leo Columbi. Mentioned Trey. They'll all be split ends tonight. And the starting tight end as that run left side. Bruce just going through people across the 30 down near the 28. But the starting tight end tonight will be Colin Udath, the junior.
It was a nice run off to the left to pick up the first down.
Get you the Eagles starters in just a minute here. As Toppers burning some clock, but picking up big yards. They have a first down and 10 from the Geneva 29-yard line as they work their way right to left. Henry now under center since Hewitt in motion. Will hand the ball off. It's Fetchick. Heath Fetchick pulls straight ahead and picks up some pretty good yardage on that first down run.
Well, the Hilltopper offensive line is winning the battle up front so far, and there was a nice big hole for Fetchick to run through and picks up 7 yards on the dive on first down.
Going to be a 4-4 defense for the Eagles tonight. We'll see Matt Hoover, Jacob Wilson, Jason Thrower, and Kevin Pavlinson. Give this to Hewitt, bouncing out right side, first down and more. Hewitt going to step out of bounds near the 10. Linebackers for Don Shimsky's squad include Bryce Pete, Logan Queen, Hayden Dimer, and Jamal Douglas. And the guys in the secondary, Giovanni Rice, Dylan Shimsky, and Luke Smith.
Hilltoppers did a nice job to win on the edge that time, and they really opened things up on the outside for Hewitt. Able to run right around a couple of blocks and get to 1st and goal. And a very methodical, very Chardon drive for the Hilltoppers here as they march down the field on drive number 1.
Fetchick comes set on the right side. 1st and goal from the 9. Now Bruce goes in motion. Bruce gets the carry, makes a cut, and steps out around the 5-yard line. Pushed out of bounds by Rice. Rice is one of the fastest players on the Eagles roster.
He was able to get out there and get a stop on Bruce, so it's going to bring up 2nd and goal for the Hilltoppers.
Picked up 4 on that run, and would be huge if Chardon could punch it in on this possession and go up a touchdown early. Henry will give it to the big man, Fay. Still on his feet. Fay spinning around. And Fay up to about the 3 before he's pulled back.
Yeah, he was met pretty much right away, but it took a second Eagle to fly in there and grab him to bring him down as he was just fighting so hard for every bit of those yards. So this has been a good drive the Hilltoppers have put together here, but you really want to cap this off with a touchdown here. Again, at home, you start with the football. You want to get 7 on the board and immediately put that pressure on the Eagles.
3rd and goal from the 3. Henry going to roll out right. Henry, what's he going to do? Looking to throw in the end zone. Incomplete. Going for Leo Columbi, but it fell down. Some good coverage by the Eagles, and now it's a 4th and 3. And what do you do if you're the Toppers?
Well, we're going to see what they decide. I'll tell you, Henry wanted to run it in there. He wanted to come around on the boot and run it in there. The Eagles, nice job being prepared for that play. The linebackers were ready. There are about 3 white jerseys there. And Alex tried to sneak a touchdown pass in there. It was nearly intercepted. Fortunately for the Hilltoppers, they've lived for another play, and they're going for it. you trust your defense, Matt. If you're going to start the Eagles off at the 3, you trust your defense here, so no reason not to try to punch it in.
No, the other guy I trust is Alex Henry, and Henry will give it to Bruce. Bruce into the end zone. Touchdown, Toppers. A.J. Bruce from 3 yards out.
And it was Logan Bryant who got out there and threw the final block on that edge so Bruce could turn the corner. And A.J. Bruce is into the end zone for a touchdown, a 5-minute drive to open things up for the Hilltoppers, and they're on the board first here at home.
Now the fourth down and goal play paid off for Chardon. Joseph Evans out to attempt the PAT. Evans, solid kick. It is up, and it is good. 7:01 to play here in the first. The Toppers strike for gold, and they lead 7-0.
Well, hey, if the Toppers win tonight, GTV will provide live audio-only coverage of Hilltopper football for next week's home playoff game on GTV Channel 1025. You can listen to the Toppers in the comfort of your own home with the score on the screen and the golden tones of Matt Jaworski.
Stop that.
So if you can't make it to the game, be sure to tune in. The Toppers on GTV Channel 1025. Yeah, that read does say the golden tones of the announced team, but my tones are more silver, so you have the golden tones.
Chardon went 3 for 3 on 4th downs last week. 1 for 1 tonight.
That's a good start, and you punch it in. That's what you want to do. You want to, you want to make Geneva pay. They chose to give you the football first. You want to make sure you score first and get that early lead, and the Hilltoppers did that.
And again, going back to what we talked about in the opening, it's something where weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you didn't know if you would even be able to pick up a couple of first downs on a drive. But now that confidence, that swagger is back. Eagles gonna let it go. They have to race back and pick it up. Boy, big mistake. The Toppers will pin them down near the 10-yard line. My, oh my, Gallinack in on that stop.
Well, if you watched it, Matt, they both called each other off, and they both heard each other, and they both stopped. And the ball lands behind them, and
that goes for a base hit, right? No one touched it. It's not in the air.
Yeah, that goes for a base hit. Yeah, that falls between the second baseman and the center fielder. Well, unfortunately, I believe Aiden Smith down right now for the Hilltoppers being looked at.
Well, when the Hilltoppers do come out on the field, we're going to see a very, very good defense. And this is a defense that it's what Chardon over the last few years, it's been their calling card, if you will. And the guy who leads everything, of course, is Heath Fetchick, the linebacker. But the guys up front, we're going to be seeing a ton of guys tonight rotating in and out to be keeping them fresh. And certainly some of those guys, including Aiden Smith, will be making a big difference. Well, looks like the staff is still on the field, so with that, we're going to pause and take a timeout here on GTV. Smith needed to be helped off the field. Will be 1st and 10 Eagles from their own 10-yard line. They will hand the ball off, bouncing left side, nothing going. Boy, the Hilltopper defense got in there quick and limited Luke Smith.
Well, remember, a week ago, the Dragons got themselves in this situation against the Hilltoppers, where on your first chance to return a kickoff, you botch it and you end up inside the 10, and the Hilltopper defense shuts you down immediately. And before the Dragons do it, they were down 17-0. Now the Eagles in similar jeopardy here.
There'll be a loss of 2 on that play, 2nd down and 12 now for Kenny Young and company. They'll look to run it out toward the right side. They'll pick up a few yards on that play. Hilltoppers, though, you like to see that good gang tackling.
Yeah, Fetchick was able to get in there along with
Alexander
Ash in there as well, so nice job by them. And it's 3rd and long for the Eagles, and Hilltopper defense got a lot of these a week ago, and they're looking for it again, a 3 and out, and get that offense back on the field.
Well, Ash has been a big key component tonight and every night the last few weeks, it seems. Young looking to throw the ball, going to go down the left side. It is incomplete. Was looking for Rice, but he could not hit him. Too high.
Yeah, Rice got himself in between some safeties there. It would have been a chance for him to pick up the first down, but the throw came high. The throw had to come high. Probably would have been intercepted if it was any lower, and there's just no way for him to be able to climb the ladder and get up there and make that catch. So the Hilltopper defense does its job. They force a 3 and out, and Hilltopper's looking to return this punt from around midfield with good field. Again, this is feeling very similar to how the Hilltoppers started off against Akron East a week ago.
Well, Rice is the punter, so he stays on the field. Gets off an end-over-end kick that will bounce right to Will Francis. Francis going to take it, look to go left side, makes a cut 45 up near the 41, and that's where he is brought down. The Hilltoppers will be starting in pretty good field position on this next drive.
Yeah, this is going to be a good spot for the Hilltoppers. They started at their own 41 on the first drive of the game. Now it's the Eagle 42 on the second. Remember last week, first 3 or 4 drives for the Hilltoppers all started in Dragon territory. So that, this game it's starting out in such a similar way, Matt. This feels so familiar to what we saw early a week ago.
Well, we talked about deja vu last week, just in terms of the fact that it was East. It was week 1 of the high school football playoffs and back-to-back years. But certainly the Hilltoppers will look to get off to a quick start again and be thankful for it. Henry under pressure, looking to throw it. Has a man open. It's Fetchick out near the 25. Nice move by Heath as he makes his way up near the 22. And Fetchick, the big reception for the first down.
Well, John Hasler was blitzing there, and he was able to come in and untouched, and Henry does a nice job to avoid the trouble, roll to his right, and then Fetchick does a good job on the other end. Finds where his quarterback is running and runs a route to get himself open where Henry can find him and hit the spot, and it's a first down to move the chains. So nicely done by the Hilltoppers.
His 5th reception of the year. Clock running at 5 and counting here in the first. Man in motion. They will hand it off. It's Bruce. Bruce has an opening. Left side 20, 15. Bruce spun out of bounds. Boy, that looked like a horse collar. But apparently not. No flags from the near side official.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you see the jersey move, but you don't see anything really egregious that happened there. That was all happening in the course of the play, but still a nice pickup on first down, and right back to 1st and goal are the Hilltoppers on offense. And I mean, this Eagles defense is going to have their work cut out for them tonight, and already they're on the field for most of this first quarter so far.
Columbia, the split end, lines up far to the right. Henry will keep it himself. Henry up the middle, spinning around, and Henry powers his way up near the 5-yard line.
A nice job, run up the middle. Again, the offensive line continuing to do a good job in the early going of this one. Definitely having control in that battle up front, and the holes are opening wide, and the Hilltopper runners are being able to do whatever they want in the early going.
Well, Henry needs 42 yards in this game to reach 1,000 for the year. Looking to give it to Hewitt, right side, wide open in the end zone, touchdown Topper.
We talk about the running between the tackles is there, the jet sweep is there as well. The Hilltoppers doing a great job on the edge tonight, able to open that up for Hewitt to run into the end zone for a touchdown. And much like a week ago, this is a Hilltopper offense firing on all cylinders right now. You're running between the tackles well, you're running the jet sweep well, and everything is moving correctly for the Hilltoppers on offense tonight.
Joseph Evans out to attempt the PAT, and getting a lot of work in early. Again, that kick is underway. It is up, and it is good. So 4:07 to go here in the first. Hilltoppers now up by 2 touchdowns, 14-0.
Well, hey, how about this? We'd like to send a shout out to Lillian and Dennis Graw tonight. So shout out. Thanks for listening, watching.
Certainly appreciate that.
Also, each week the OHSAA determines which playoff games can be covered and possibly streamed by GTV. If we are permitted to cover next week's game, our playoff cable telecast will be underwritten by the Chardon Hilltopper Gridirons Club supporters. The game will be replayed on cable that weekend and may also be live streamed by the Chardon Athletic Department for a one-time fee of $10. Some or all of the proceeds from streaming revenue will go to the athletic department. You can find the live stream subscription link at www.geaugatv.org or at chardonathletics.org.
Sam Sasserich will tee up the football. They've been working him in to some games toward the end of this season, and he is the heir apparent to Evans, who will be graduating. And I like the idea. Give the young man some responsibility a little bit when you feel comfortable.
And it's a big responsibility tonight in a playoff game.
That time, the Eagles will return the kick. It will not be a big return, but not bad by Luke Smith there. No question he called for it.
Well, we saw our first scoring update of the night, Matt, and Talmadge scores first against Ursuline 7-0, and should be an interesting game because, we all know how good Ursuline is. We saw that program a year ago up here, but Talmadge has a good program as well. They make deep playoff runs often, and they have the ability to score, so we'll have to watch that. That's the 3-6 matchup here in Division III, Region 9 tonight. We'll have to keep an eye on that matchup between Ursuline and Talmadge for sure.
Well, and on the other side of the bracket as well, you have Aurora going up against Canfield. That's an entertaining matchup too.
Yeah, and so the winners of those two games play each other, and we get the winner of Cheney and Kenston next week if the Hilltoppers hold on to this early lead over the Eagles.
Young looking to throw the football, going to dump it out. Smith at the 30, 35 near side 40, 45, running room 50, and Smith brought down in Topper territory near the 44-yard line.
Well, that sure looked like a happy accident as the quarterback is going down and just kind of throws one up in the direction where he knows he's got Smith, and because of all the pressure the Hilltoppers were bringing, Smith had no one around him. So once that kind of pop-up pass got to him, he had plenty of room to run for the first down, and the Eagles able to get into Hilltopper territory here on their second drive of the night.
Well, the Eagles starting QB is Kenny Young. His starting running backs will be Jacob Wilson, Luke Smith, and Hayden Deemer. They go a lot of two-way players, by the way. Will be an illegal procedure call against the Eagles. I think everybody in the stadium saw that one.
I was gonna say. Everyone saw it. Everyone knows, so that'll push them back 5 yards.
Their starting offensive line, John Alley, John Hasler, Jason Thrower, Jamal Douglas, and Jackson Furlan. The tight end is Logan Queen. Mentioned already the split end, Giovanni Rice. We'll get to the Toppers after this next play. So Kenny Young will hand it off. It looked like it was the fullback, Jacob Wilson, who got the carry, plowed ahead for a pickup of a few yards on that run.
Yeah, it gets you about 3. You're still behind the chains now on second down at second down and 12. Good job by the Hilltoppers to close in on that fullback dive.
This time of the year, expect to see a lot of different bodies up front for Chardon. And amongst them will be Kyle Kisley, Maddox Ciancibello, Caleb Schutzman, Austin Lazinski, Robert Vunderdink. May see some Aiden Smith. Have not seen him on the field after he walked off with that injury on the kickoff coverage. Flags flying. Young throws it up again. And Leo Columbi came down with it. Was he in bounds is the question. Officials say yes. So if it stands, it's a kick.
So we'll wait and see what the penalty is going to be called here. And while the officials sort that out, you mentioned you'll see all kinds of different bodies in there up front defensively early in the playoffs. If you want to make a deep playoff run, you really need to make sure you mix guys in and keep guys fresh. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of that tonight, Matt. Mixing guys in, keeping guys fresh here in the early stages of the playoffs. And now we'll wait and see what the penalty call is and how it gets sorted.
Kenny Young is walking to the sidelines. Penalties declined. It's against the Eagles. Toppers take over.
And a nice job by Leo Colombi, able to get up there and get the pick, his second INT of the year, and it comes at a great time as the Eagles aren't able to capitalize. They make that big play and get into Hilltopper territory, but now they turn it over, and the Chardon offense back on this field, and this Eagles defense that has been out there for most of this first quarter is already back out there again.
It's what the Toppers want to do. They want to wear you down, and they would love to add on some more points here and make it more like that 57-13 score from a couple years back. Already starting to see some hands on the hips of the Eagles. Bruce in motion will get the carry, trying to go around the right side. Flag comes out. Bruce will go out of bounds shy of the 30, but I got a feeling this one will not go the Hilltoppers' way.
The Hilltoppers are going to end up facing a first down in about 20 here. We'll see where they mark that off from, but there's holding again on that right side. Third holding penalty against the Hilltopper offense in this first quarter.
Boy, you cannot, and I want to emphasize this, the deeper you go in the playoffs, you cannot continue to do this.
Again, last week it was penalties of the 5-yard variety. So far this week it's penalties of the 10, but yeah, the deeper you get, the more penalties hurt. And you don't want to be sitting in the, the regional finals with a bunch of 1st and 20s in front of you. So it's something you definitely want to hope you could sort out in practice.
Well, with all due respect to Geneva, we've seen the defense of Kenston already. That's a pretty good defense. And you do not want to be putting yourself back in and 20s throughout the night because Kenston will make you pay. Same thing if it's Youngstown Cheney.
Yeah, if you look at Cheney's numbers, their defense has had a fantastic year.
Handoff going up the middle, running through multiple defenders is Heath Fetchick, and Fetchick picks up about 10 on that carry.
Well, they've been going to Fetchick here on 1st and long. They did it on the first drive when they were facing about a 1st down and 18 after a penalty. They handed off to Fetchick, and he does a nice job to pick up a lot of yards. That's an 11-yard gain, and you're right back to 2nd and 9.
Gallinack split end out left side. Toppers will pitch it out. Bruce wrapped up and stopped in the backfield. Didn't have much of a chance on that one. Bryce Pete, first guy to get to him.
Yeah, nice job there by Pete to be ready for that jet sweep run. So they're going to inch the Hilltoppers forward a couple of yards, but it was one of the longer 3rd downs they've faced here in this first quarter. 3rd down and 9 for Chardon. This is a big moment for this Geneva defense to get a stop. It would be their first stop of the night. Maybe they could get to the second quarter starting with a little bit of momentum.
Chardon needs to get to the 31-yard line. They're going to look to throw, coming back near side, incomplete. They couldn't connect on that one. The Eagles disrupted that.
Yeah, they were looking to get it to Fay. Tons of defenders down there. Again, good job knowing what the plays are going to be and seeing what was coming by the Eagles.
Toppers will be forced to punt. They didn't have to do that in the first half last week.
It's a big stop for the Eagles defense and a chance for them to flip field position too. I mean, when you look where you're lining them up, they're standing at about midfield, so this is a big opportunity for the Eagles to take some momentum into the second quarter. It's been a tough first quarter, and it's tough to fall behind on the road in the playoffs, but they're going to be in a position to potentially get themselves back into it.
So Evans, who's done a fantastic job punting, does it again. A beautiful high kick. Fair catch called for and fair catch made at the 34. What a weapon.
Oh, we've talked about it. Evans has had a fantastic season, so the Eagles are standing there hopeful they're going to start around midfield, and Evans sends them all the way back to the 34. And that's a great punt by Evans.
Entering this contest, Ryan, you and I were both under the impression that, okay, we're not going to see a lot of passes tonight. Yes, we realize that Henry's thrown the ball 70 times this year entering tonight. You look on the other side of the field, 75 for Young, but considering it's 2 wing tees, I'm surprised we've seen this many passes so far at this point in the game.
I would say both teams are trying to go to that well, see if they, of course, if you're the Hilltoppers, you know, the Eagles really struggled against the pass a week ago against Gilmore, so you're looking to pick your chances to get your opportunities.
Handoff and nothing going there. Hilltoppers just said no way. Deemer had nowhere to run the football. Too many black jerseys around him.
This defense immediately puts the Eagles back behind the chains, and Geneva will take the quarter break to discuss what they want their next play to be.
With that, we'll take a timeout here. Toppers lead 14-0 after 1 on GTV.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ashes Mayfield Window Cleaning Company, and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Turn to action here at Chardon Memorial. Pass is caught by Hayden Deemer out near the 40-yard line. He'll be shy of the first down and bring up a third down for Geneva.
It's a nice play call there by the Eagles. Little inside zone there. Pick up about 6 yards, set up third down and manageable.
Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you here from Chardon Memorial. Is week number 12 of the high school football season and week number 2 of the playoffs, round number 2, if you will. Final home game of the season for Chardon. Young going to pitch it up left side, right side, caught by Deemer and stretched across for the first down. Did he get it is the question. They will say yes and mark him down at the 45, so move the chains.
Deemer runs a nice route there. He just hooks out real quickly, gets himself in a little bit of space, makes the catch. It's enough for the first down, and the Eagles trying to get their offense moved. They had one big play in the first quarter. Otherwise, there wasn't much there. Here it looks more like a put-together effort here. They're able to move the chains. They've got a drive going. It's their best-looking drive so far in this game.
Young going to keep it himself and knocked out of bounds, spun around and taken out.
Well, it's what every team that plays Chardon learns over the course of the first half of the game is you can't let your quarterback have the ball in his hands for too long. And Kenny Young trying to get to the outside, and there's like 5 Hilltoppers charging at him. And he gets sacked back for a loss of about 4.
Yeah, it was Austin Lazinski in on that sack. Second and 14, man in motion. Young dropping back to pass, stuck in the pocket, down again. The Hilltoppers get him again. That time Logan Bryant.
And Logan Bryant gets back there and brings him down. Looked like the initial rush threw Kenny Young off balance. There was not much from the offensive line of the Eagles that time. And blitz, that wasn't a situation of Kenny Young having the football for too long. He didn't even have a chance to finish his drop back before the Hilltoppers were able to bring him down and sack him.
Now Logan Bryant turning into a bad man. Does it on the offensive line, and from time to time gets a little bit of play at the defensive line as well. Young having to go down and scoop up and throw it, and it's picked off! Trey Liebhart with the interception, and for Trey, that is his team leading 6th interception of the season.
Liebhardt is back there in man coverage. He's step for step with Deemer. Deemer's made a couple of nice catches already today. Liebhardt able to get the inside position, knows the quarterback is going to throw it there, and just reaches out there to make the catch. And like you say, Liebhardt is one of those guys, you know he's going to make a big play in every game, and he just made one there.
Out comes the Topper offense. They were stymied last drive due in part to a big holding penalty, trying to atone for it here. Handoff coming right side. WeWereAthletes out near the 40. Nice one to Drago.
Yeah, get it to Drago there and have him go off the right side. He gets a couple of blocks, and it's a good first down run. Picks up about 5 for the Hilltoppers.
Well, if you're the Geneva Eagles, you run the wing to yourself, but Chardon does things a little bit differently than Geneva. It makes it, not quite perfect, if you will, in terms of how they can scout the Toppers.
And not only is it difficult to begin with, just when you don't see a wing tee every week, but then the Hilltoppers run it a little bit different than everyone else. Throw some of their own wrinkles into it.
Run to the right side, and the Toppers will get the first down as it was WeWereAthletes again. Move the chains, and the Toppers in business.
Went right back to Drago there, and so far on his first 2 runs on this drive, he's averaging 6 yards a run, so they hand it off to him. He goes off the right side. You got a first down. You're moving the chains.
Toppers from the Eagle 33. Handoff right side. Making a nice move and being spun and pushed, kind of laid out of bounds. That was Caleb Hewitt.
Nice run by Hewitt, and again, the Hilltoppers living on that right side on this drive. They run to the right again. This time they go with Hewitt instead of WeWereAthletes, and he's able to pick up 8 yards, bringing up second down and short.
Toppers, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions so far in this game, looking to tack on a 3rd score if they can get something going. Fay up the middle, and on the fullback dive gets the first down.
That'll be plenty enough to move the chains, and they will move them as Fay does a nice job. While you keep giving the ball to athletes and running to the right, eventually it's going to open things up for your fullback, and a nice dive ahead by Fay to pick up the first down and keep the chains moving on this drive for the Hilltoppers. Clock moving as well.
Chardon has done a very good job in this game in terms of opening up the holes in the middle. It's doing well. There's another one. Fetch it. Straight ahead and fetch it. Lowers the shoulder pads, gets up near the 15-yard line. But they're getting the holes because the jet's been available on the outside.
Yeah, and that opened things up between the tackles. Good work by the offensive line, opening up a nice big hole for Fetchik to run through. And if you're an Eagles defender, you're thinking that your offense hasn't done much to help you out here tonight, and you maybe gave them a momentum push, and they immediately turned the ball over, and defensively right back on the field, and here come the Hilltopper offense.
2nd and 3. The give is to, I think, Brooks.
That was the keeper there.
I had a tough time seeing from my spot.
And Henry came dropping back. The Eagles got pressure in the backfield on that one.
It'll be 3rd and about 3 or so for the Hilltoppers, maybe 2. So Chardon with the 3rd down and 2. Fetch it, spinning around. It looks like he crossed the plane. And wow, 2 officials are, one's on one side of the, I don't know about that spot.
It's going to come up just short, 4th and short again. The Hilltoppers have kept the pressure on today. I'm going to say they're going to go for it. Eagles doing a nice job here on these past 2 downs to clamp down.
We haven't seen it, but it's Alex Henry running the football. Maybe now is the time. And it's 4th and less than, maybe 4th and about 2 feet. Henry gonna fake it. Henry, he's got it. Henry 10, Henry 5 toward the end zone. Loose ball. Looks like the Hilltoppers came up with it, but no one has signaled anything.
I'm not sure that the officials didn't call him down on the 1-yard line first.
He will be spotted down shy of the goal line.
So someone will have to tell the band.
Yeah, we had that problem last year at South. A couple premature fight songs.
Yeah, just short. Called him down before he fumbled.
But a big run by the QB, and the Toppers a yard away, going up 3 scores.
Henry, turn to your senior and you go to him on 4th and 1, and he doesn't only pick up the first down, he gets you all the way to the goal line. Hilltoppers' success on 4th down continues.
Into the end zone, touchdown Toppers!
Well, you give it back to Alex Henry. You know, he made the big run to get you there. You call the QB keeper again, and Henry dives forward into the end zone for the touchdown run.
Gotta let him finish it off, and for the first time in a long time, you see the old helmet pop off too. So the Toppers, 2 for 2 tonight on 4th down situations. Each time, they've ended up scoring touchdowns on those tries. PAT attempt is underway. That is Sasserich, by the way. And it is good. With 5:49 to go here in the first Toppers up 21-0.
Well, hey, late breaking news. Not only can you get GTV on Roku and Apple TV, you can now get it on your cell phone, iPhone, or Android. Just look for the Cablecast app in your store and you'll have GTV on your phone.
Toppers winning the yardage battle right now, 181-40 unofficially.
Yeah, this has been to this point all Hilltoppers. You know, the Eagles are going to look back on this first half, and they had their shot to get back into this game. The defense forced a forced a punt by the Hilltoppers. Unfortunately, the offense for the Eagles couldn't respond. They end up turning the ball over, and the Hilltoppers march down the field and score. And the Eagles are probably going to look back on that series of events and wish it had played out differently for them.
Well, you go back to what this Hilltopper team does. They just wear you down. They want you to be the team that makes the mistakes, and they capitalize on them.
Well, by the way, Henry now at 48 yards rushing on the night after that drive.
So he has crossed the 1,000-yard mark this season. Kickoff taken right side from the 5, 10, 15, up to the 20, 25. Not much more than that. That was Rice on the return. And, you know, that is the one area where you don't want to talk about an area of concern for the Hilltoppers this year. It has been the kickoff return coverage because they have allowed multiple returns to go to the end zone this year.
Yeah, you know, they've given up a lot of big runs on kickoffs, but, you know, some of that, especially early in the year, some of those athletes they were facing on the kickoff returns were pretty special athletes. But, yeah, it's been an area of concern is giving up some big returns, particularly on those kickoffs.
Young under center. Handed off up the middle. That looked like the fullback, I think. Wilson, it was. Gains a few yards.
Important to keep in mind, these Geneva Eagles did erase a 3-touchdown deficit a week ago to come back and win. Of course, this Hilltopper defense is a much different defense than the Lancer defense that the Eagles did that against a week ago, but they have come back from a deep deficit in this playoffs already.
Young. Give it up right side. It's Luke Smith. Smith fighting for yardage up near the 34-yard line. And I do want to mention this, by the way, because the Eagles made my life a lot easier this week. The owner of my company is a Gilmore grad. His kids went to Gilmore. So I have to deal with kind of some smack talk this week. So shout out to the Eagles for doing that.
Well, hey, we would like to send a thanks out to all of our GTV funding communities: Chardon Township, the City of Chardon, Middlefield Village, and Munson Township. Thanks again for supporting GTV, and thanks to all our viewers for the support.
Eagles call a timeout here with 4:43 to go before halftime. Now they will get the ball to start this quarter, or should we start the second half? But pivotal play here, 3rd and 5, and you have to think that if they don't get the Chardon with the touchdown, puts themselves in a position where potentially, maybe if it's a quick score, Ryan, they could position themselves to maybe have a running clock come the start of the 3rd quarter.
On the flip side, I know it's only the first half, so you don't want to call a game over early, but this really feels like a critical period in this game for the Eagles. If you can use up most of this 4:40 and score, and you get the ball to start the second half and score again, Geneva's right back in it. So this feels like a critical time in this game for the Eagles if they're going to get back into it.
Young under pressure throws, and it's incomplete. Hilltoppers had that snap time perfectly. And now it's 4th down. Boy, Young has just had a miserable night in terms of throwing the football. He entered tonight, in case you were wondering, 29 of 75, 450 yards, had thrown for 4 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. He's doubled his interceptions, and he has been pressured a lot tonight.
Well, the thing is they're a wing T offense, but you're already down 3 scores. You're going to have to throw if you're the Eagles. So the Hilltoppers have the Eagles trying to do things they're not comfortable doing.
Rice will punt the football sky high. Toppers will watch it bounce, and it's going to bounce the Toppers' way back to about the 41-yard line. So again, more good starting field position for Chardon. And you got to take that into account too, because the last 2 weeks, again, Chardon, for the most part, has had some very good starting field position on most of their drives.
Yeah, they've definitely been winning the field position battle. That's a key in the playoffs. You win that battle, you're going to win a lot of playoff games, and the Hilltoppers have been there tonight. And, of course, that starts on the defensive side, and then special teams is involved with that as well. But teams don't get the ball to midfield a lot against the Hilltopper defense, and that gives the Hilltopper offense some great starting field position.
Fetching to the left of Henry, going to hand it off to WeWereAthletes. Gets a good block across midfield down to about the 48-yard line.
Well, they're going to get holding. They're going to get Logan Bryant on that one. The Hilltoppers will back off 10 yards again and again. Tonight against the Eagles, picking up these yards has been no trouble. But that's the 4th holding call against the Hilltoppers in the first half. And it's so weird because last week it was the procedural penalties, right? I haven't seen a legal procedure yet tonight. That's cleaned up. But it's the holding penalties tonight starting to stack upon themselves for the Toppers. And again, this week against Geneva, they're having no problem picking up that yardage. But competition only gets harder the deeper you go. And getting behind the chains becomes much more difficult the deeper you go in the playoffs.
And part of it, too, is, and we've heard this from time to time, when officials aren't used to seeing a team like Chardon or a team like Geneva, they're going to pitch it out left side. Ball is caught by Bruce, trying to get around the end. Bruce up near the 44-yard line. But sometimes just even based on the technique, while it's not a hold, the officials may feel it isn't called and call the penalty.
That's always possible as well, and you could be seeing some of that tonight. the Eagles don't want to get beat on the outside on a jet sweep tonight. And they've been doing a good job here lately, and that time A.J. Bruce picks up about 7 or 8 yards, but still a lot of linebackers down there.
2nd and 14, going to swing it out near side. The ball will go out of bounds.
So then the question becomes, the official roll that a forward pass. Looks like they did because they're not moving the yard marker.
No, they are moving it backwards. They're saying it was a lateral.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that was forward, so that's going to go for a loss. And the timing was just off, trying to get it to Hewitt. I don't think the fans are happy with that call, but man, from sitting up here, Matt, I thought that sure looked like it was going backwards. That's the way the officials saw it as well.
Well,
so it's a fumble that goes out of bounds, and it goes for a loss.
You get the feeling to a certain extent the fans just want to see a big play here, get the first down no matter what it is. 3rd and 17 from their 40. Henry going to step up. Henry is going to be stymied by about 4 or 5 different Eagles. He had nowhere to go, and it's going to be 4th and long, and the Toppers will be forced to punt the football.
Nice work by the Eagles, keeping their eyes on that senior quarterback, making sure that he couldn't beat them. And yeah, no choice but to punt for the Hilltoppers. So the Eagles will get another chance here. There's still 3 minutes left. Another chance here for Geneva to get themselves back in this game. Still an opportunity for them to pull off a 2-for-1 and really make things interesting.
Good punt. Gonna bounce inside the 20, keep going, and will go out of bounds inside the 15. Nice job by Evans.
Yeah, pins another one inside the 20. He's done such a great job with that all year this year, and nicely done there by Evans.
Well, 2:39 to go here before halftime. Toppers do have all 3 timeouts, so if you maybe get an incomplete pass or 2, they will be in position, if they can get a 3 and out, Ryan, to do some damage here and maybe get the ball back.
And as we've talked about, this defense in the past 2 weeks has gotten a lot of 3 and outs. And we'll see what the Eagles do here with 2:39 left. Imagine they're going to throw the football a bit more than you'd expect.
Kenny Young under center will hand it off to the fullback going straight ahead. And Jacob Wilson picked up maybe about 3 yards on that run. Just right into the teeth of the Hilltopper defense, and a timeout has been called.
Oh, wait a minute.
And so the Eagles only pick up 3 yards there.
Officials will now start the clock, so that was a brief official timeout. Here's the wind picking up. They'll try to run it to the right side. No go, Toppers get him.
Yeah, Chardon was all over that one.
Lazinski in on that stop, and a timeout has been called. Timeout by the Hilltoppers. We'll stop the clock at 2:10 to go here with a 3rd down and 9 situation.
Well, yeah, you want the football back, so remember, we're talking about this. Chardon does not have the football to start the second half, so you want it back, and you want to get another touchdown before you head into the locker room. Hey, GTV's on the internet. Check out our new website with streaming links and more. Watch GTV wherever you go, Florida, Columbus, or even Tuscaloosa. Streaming video of both channels available now at geaugatv.org.
Well, Hilltopper defense coming back out on the field. They know what the mission is. It is to get a stop. And up front, they're going to be looking at guys like Maddox Ciancibello, Kyle Kisley, Austin Lazinski to help get that stop. Young with a 3rd and 9. They'll send a man in motion, dropping back to pass, going to put it up, down the field, ball in the air. It is intercepted again! Trey with his 2nd pick.
That's Trey Liebhardt again. You've got him in man coverage, and well overthrowing the mark was Kenny Young. And by overthrowing the mark, Liebhardt was able to use his speed to get there first, and he brings in his second interception of the game. And the Hilltoppers now are going to have over 2 minutes left to try to score before they head into the locker room. And the Eagle offense continues to struggle against this Hilltopper defense, sending their defense back out on this field again here in this first half.
Well, Chardon, no other way to say it. They're going touchdown for touchdown and pick for pick, if you will.
Yeah, that's 2 turnovers, both interceptions for Liebhardt.
Chardon will go to the ground game. Liebhardt, no, check that. That was Hewitt tripped up, running right side, just could not turn it up the field.
Hilltoppers trying to get back to the line in a hurry here, trying to get to the, yeah, there was one man to beat, and I believe that was Lil Torres Mook, who does a nice job to get a hand out there and bring down Hewitt.
Toppers going no huddle here, clock running 1:38 and counting. Bruce goes in motion, fake to Bruce. Henry spinning around, and Henry stymied back to about the original line of scrimmage. Toppers, what are they going to do? They're going to call the timeout, or are they going to keep going? They're going to keep going here.
Well, again, you got 2 things at play here. The Eagles get the ball to start the second half, so you really don't want Geneva to have another drive here in this first half, so see what you can get.
Fetchick goes in motion. Henry looking to throw, going to put it up left side. Looking for Trey, and incomplete. Some nice coverage by Don Shimsky, the coach's son. Excuse me, Donald Shimsky, Coach Don Shimsky's son.
Yeah, and he does a nice job down there to get the position on Trey, and the ball was overthrown. Liebhardt couldn't get back there because of Shimsky, and the Hilltoppers are punting again, so this Eagles defense here in about the last 6 minutes, Matt, has really pinned their ears back, and they're starting to do a much better job defensively than they were doing in the early part of this game. They've obviously made some adjustments.
Now they have indeed figured some things out here. But what they have struggled to do is to figure out the Hilltopper defense. Evans, high kick. Bounces at the 10 and is going to come back toward the 15. Still pinned him inside the 20.
And this will be what's interesting to see what the Eagles decide to do here. You've turned the ball over twice already. You're fortunate you got away with that latest one. They're going to have the ball to start the second half, although I'm sure there's a part of the Eagles that would love a 2-for-1. I think we're going to see them keep things safe here, keep things on the ground, and see what happens as we get to the locker room.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we just see them take a couple knees here. But although the problem is you can't. Toppers still have 2 timeouts left.
Yeah, if you start going to the ground, the Toppers are going to try to get the ball back.
They will run it, and the Toppers say, no, don't even think about it. Defensive line in there and making a big stop, and the clock will continue to run.
Yeah, the Eagles are fine with that. If they could have gotten a nice big play off, they would have been thrilled, but they keep the football. They only have to run one more play. They'll get into the locker room down by 3 scores. Not an impossible mountain for them to climb coming out in the second half.
Well, they were, again, in a similar position last week. So they've been there before, but again, they're facing a much tougher defensive test here. Young from under center will take it himself, and nothing going.
The safest of safe plays to end the first half.
That will do it. We head into halftime with the score. It is Chardon 21 and Geneva nothing. Folks, we ask you to stick around because we'll have the halftime show for you coming up next here on GTV.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, the Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ash's Mayfield Window Cleaning Company and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the 2022 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band. The band is being led onto the field this evening by Field Commander Charlotte Johns. Tonight's show features a few of our favorites from this season. Our first tune is a swing band classic. Some early recordings of this song feature Gene Krupa, Louis Prima, or Benny Goodman. This version features our majorettes, toperettes, and a swing band dance. Here is Sing, Sing, Sing. Oldies Show, featuring our fabulous toperettes and made famous by the Beatles back in the 60s. Here is Twist and Shout. another tune from our oldies show. Featuring our powerful percussion and magnificent majorettes, you're sure to recognize this classic from 1963. Get out your surfboard and pretend you're on a beach. Here is Hoo-Hoo-Hoo, Wipeout! The Chardon High School Fight Song.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ash's Mayfield Window Cleaning Company and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Welcome back, everyone. Chardon Memorial, Matt Jaworski and Ryan Radke with you. It is the final home game of the season for the Hilltoppers as this senior class defending the Hill one more time. They're up 21-0. They've got 24 minutes to walk away. Another year, another perfect home record.
Yeah, that's what they're looking to finish off here, up 21-0. And it's all going to start on this drive. The Eagles, I'm sure that they game planned this drive in the locker room. They're very badly wanting to score on this drive as they're down 21-0. Defensively, Geneva has figured some things out. They've gotten a couple of stops on the past couple of drives, Matt, but offensively they still can't get anything going. They've turned the ball over 3 times, 2 interceptions by Liebhart, 1 by Leo Columbi. So offensively, the Eagles probably talked about this drive a lot and planned it out.
Sasarich tees it up, lets it go. Kick will be fielded near the 9. And it's Smith trying to make something happen. Smith out near the 30, and that's where the Eagles will start some of their best starting field position of the evening. You look at what this Geneva Eagles team has done, 43 yards of offense at this point in time of the night. Hilltoppers have put up 192 yards. So for Chardon, the first team has given up a little bit more than double what they did last week.
Yeah.
Overall,
yeah, that's where you're at right now.
So credit to the Eagles on that one.
Yes.
And I still marvel at that game against East because Division I running back recruit held to 3 yards.
Yeah, that was an incredible effort. And really, Geneva today, they had that one big play, that weird play where the quarterback threw the pop-up pass when he was falling.
Pitch left side to Deemer. Not much going there. A lot of black jerseys around him to bring him down.
But that one play was about 25 of those 40 yards right there. Otherwise, it's been a pretty stout defensive effort again by the Hilltoppers.
Going back to that game too, and I've been asking a lot of people this question. Have you ever seen two safeties in a game? Because we saw that last week.
I don't think we've seen anyone that had before that.
I have not ran into anyone who said they've seen two safeties in a game. Big stop by the Hilltoppers. They're getting in there and just limiting the running game right now of the Eagles, and it's almost like they're starting to smell some blood now.
Yeah, they're able to find Luke Smith, send him down for a loss, and familiar territory for the Eagles. They haven't done much with it. 3rd down and 9, 3rd down and 8. Lots of 3rd and longs for Geneva, and as usual, Hilltoppers defense converts those into 3 and outs.
So 3rd and 9 from the 31 for the Eagles as they work their way left to right. Kenny Young going to drop back the pass, feeling pressure. Young stepping up in the pocket, nowhere to go! Kyle Kisley with the sack.
Yeah, does a great job able to get back there, make the big stop. And
taken after his big brother.
I was to say, the junior gets in there with the big play. It's a big loss. The first run was about 3 yards. The Eagles went backwards after that, and probably not what they discussed in that locker room at the halftime as they go 3 and out, and they're punting, and they're going to give Hilltoppers field position at midfield.
Almost brought my air horn. I would have blown it.
Rice set to punt the football. Toppers brought some pressure. Sky-high kick. Flag coming out. This one's coming back because they roughed the punter.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. It's a 15-yard penalty, so is that enough from where they were spotted?
Well, that kick went really high. I wonder if someone might have touched it, though, too. But the officials don't seem to see it that way. Nope. They're going to talk with Geneva coach Don Shimsky about this penalty. Shimsky, his first year as the head coach at Geneva, took over for Chip Sorbet, who stepped down in the offseason. Now he's an assistant coach at Riverside. And Shimsky has spent his entire career at Geneva. Of course, it was a school that liked to so the penalty was declined. That meant it likely was not going to bring up a first down, I guess. And Shimsky just said,
but they got no. So the penalty, so that must have been it. They decided they didn't want to punt again. Okay, we all know what's going on. We're here. Yep. We know. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't going to bring up a first down, so they said, forget it, let's decline it.
Didn't want to have anything happen where you turn the ball over even more. Bruce stuffed. Nice stop by the big man, John Hassler.
Oh, this is where the Eagles have made their adjustment out on that edge. As after the first quarter, they did a much better job of closing off the jet for the Hilltoppers, which has in turn started to close things up in between the tackles.
Well, what you're seeing is a lot of penetration that we didn't see that first quarter by the Eagles. High snap, they'll fake the handoff, and up the middle goes Alex Henry toward the 43. Little pickup there for a few yards on second down. But Hilltoppers trying to just figure something out. It has been I'd call it more frustrating second quarter, and so far here in the third.
Yeah, ever since that third touchdown got on the board, things have really ground to a halt for this Hilltopper offense.
Henry from the gun sends Bruce in motion. It is Bruce. Nice cut, and Bruce going to be spun out of bounds near the 38. Will bring up a fourth down, and the Toppers have been perfect tonight on fourth downs. 2 for 2. They were 3 for 3 last week.
And you're in a territory here on the field where you're going to go for it. Fourth down and 3.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see a Henry keeper here. We saw that the last time around. Or, they haven't handed the ball off to Heath Fetchick in a while either.
No, and they gave it to Fetchick on a couple of the fourth downs earlier in this game. And yeah, Henry got it on the last fourth down attempt.
Fay is the fullback. Caleb Hewitt's out there as well. They're going to look to pass the football. Left side, in and out of the hands of Leo Columbi. He had the first down.
Pass was there, it just went through Leo's hands. Columbi would like that one back, but it is what it is, and the Eagles get a turnover on downs. They take back over, and the Hilltopper offense goes 4 and out after getting the ball at midfield.
Would have been Columbia's 4th reception of the year, but instead still on 3. Well, the Eagles offense did not spend too much time on the field in the first half.
The defense has been out there a lot, which even more credit to that defense for really being able to buckle down with as much as they've been out there tonight.
Low snap, it's on the ground. Young gonna fall on it for a loss.
You could tell the pressure that the Hilltoppers bring just has this Eagles offense out of sorts. That snap gets rushed, it's a low snap, and you hurt yourself. And immediately they go backwards again. This has been the strength of the Hilltoppers all year long, is this defense, and that's the case again tonight here.
Second and 14 from the 34. Good snap this time. Again, more pressure. They're going to dump it off. Ball is caught inside the 35, up near the 40. And nice little gain by Luke Smith. That will put them not quite on schedule, as you would say.
Yeah, they do a nice job there as Young drops back, draws that blitz towards himself, and then he just dumps it over that blitz to Smith in space. Brings up a 3rd down and 7.
Eagles, we got 2 receivers out to the right, or out to the left, beg your pardon. Young looking to throw left side again, more pressure, and he will dump it off. He's going to hit Pete. Pete racing up the field, picks up the first down, and Pete goes out of bounds inside the 45, down near the 43.
Oh, this is again, Matt, this is the same thing. Young drops back, brings the blitz with him, and that leaves Bryce Pete off to the left open with no defenders around, plenty of room to operate, and Pete picks up a first down.
Almost a little delay screen action, if you will. So first down by the Eagles will put them in Hilltopper territory with 6:43 to go, clock running here in the 3rd quarter. Toppers up 21-0. Fetchick coming in on the blitz. No, going to be a run up the middle, and fighting his way very close to the first down was the fullback Wilson. Wilson, a good strong run, and he did get the first. No, they're going to mark him about a full yard shy of the first down, beg your pardon.
This is the best drive of the night for the Eagles so far, and you could start to see the demeanor change. You can see that confidence level rising down there on that sideline and with those players out on the field offensively.
If you're the Hilltoppers, you do not want to let this Eagles squad back in the game. They'll give it going left side to Deemer, and Deemer gets the first down as he crosses the 33 to about the 32.
run a little counter there, get the defense moving one direction, then you go back and you have Deemer run the other way, and you're able to get enough for a first down to keep this drive going for the Eagles. An impressive drive for Geneva here.
Well, we saw one other drive that started off promising for Geneva in the first quarter, ended though in an interception.
Geneva seems to be making a conscious effort to keep the ball on the ground more here in this second half.
Young will give the ball to Pete. Pete up the middle, no go. Too many toppers right there to snuff that one out.
Young had those 3 interceptions in the first half, so when we've seen them go to the air here in the second half, it's been those quick screen passes, but otherwise, Geneva seems to be concentrating on just playing their brand of football now. It shortens the game on them, but it's probably the best way they feel like they can succeed.
Yeah, Hilltoppers have done a good job limiting Luke Smith tonight. He came in needing 98 yards for 1,000 on the season, and he has had very few yards tonight, nowhere near that 1,000-yard mark yet. Young dropping back to pass, going to throw it over the middle, ball up in the air, and it is intercepted again! The Hilltoppers get the pick. It's Caleb Hewitt, I believe. Or was it Trey? It was Trey. He's got the hat trick.
I was going to say, throw your hats on the field. That's 3 for Trey Liebhart. And how baffling is that, Matt? The Eagles have their best drive of the game going. Everything's short. They're running the football, and they take a chance. And it's their 4th interception of the night. Trey Liebhart with the big play. Yeah, now this is a long, deep field for this Hilltopper offense, but a good opportunity to really take a lot of this game away from Geneva if you're Chardon, if you put a drive together. But that was a baffling play call there, them airing it out like that, the way that drive was going.
Trey with 3 picks, and now the Hilltopper offense trying to get back to work there. They gave it to Fetchick up the middle, and Fetchick picked up about a yard on that run out to the 4.
As everyone knows, this is a real tough area of the field for an offense to operate. The defense could pretty much sell on the idea that you're going to be running between the tackles a lot. They could bring some extra pressure with that, which means if you do drop back to pass, you get into danger territory pretty quickly.
Had him in the split end out on the left side. Toppers, tight wing T formation. And the give is to No. It was a keeper by Henry who made a nice cut, able to get up near the 8-yard line.
That's a bold play there. The senior runs it well, though. He fakes the handoff and then took a step with the football backwards in his end zone to draw the defense away. And there was enough room for him to come ahead. Executed well by the senior. Sets up 3rd down and about 4.
Thought you were about to call me Cat. Dodgeball fans might understand it.
The movie was a long time ago.
I know. Some of these youngins
have no idea what you're talking about.
Bruce on the jet, trying to get around the corner. He does. First down and then some. And now a late flag. Oh, no. Holding against Chardon.
And it goes, these penalties.
5th holding penalty of the night on the Hilltoppers.
These penalties have hurt all night long, and this one really hurts.
Call it both ways, ref! Opa, get your boys under control, let them play!
You think you've got a first down, and then you go the wrong direction. I love football fans.
They're creative out here in Topper Town. Chardon with a 3rd and 8 now, back from the 4. Bit of a high snap. Henry has it. Henry pushing his way forward, and Henry up near the 10 will be shy of the first down marker by a few yards. And Evans likely will be bringing out the, walking out with the punt team here on 4th down.
The Eagles defense gets another stop there.
Well, they do, but it was inflicted by Chardon.
Yep. But, you know, if you're the Eagles defense, you can't do any more. You're looking around on that sideline at your offensive players. saying it's your time to take the ball here, giving you every opportunity to get back into this, and the Eagles have not been able to do it on the offensive side of the football yet.
Evans' end over end kick will come back toward the Hilltoppers. And now there's a dog pile, but I believe the Hilltoppers downed it at the 39.
Well, this is great field position for Geneva. Now, you know this Hilltopper defense, after that interception, is coming out here with a lot of energy. They kind of let the Eagles move the football a little bit on that last drive. You know that doesn't sit well with this Hilltopper defense, and they're going to come out here ready to make some big hits here. Try to get a quick stop. It's going to be 4-down territory for Geneva.
The Hilltoppers would love to get a quick 3-and-out. Young from the gun. Will give it up left side to Wilson. They've had some success with that fullback dive up the middle.
Yeah, they've got that working well in this second half. The screen pass has been there for them so far in this second half.
Wilson entered tonight averaging about 5 yards a carry, picked up 4 there.
I mean, this is a good Hilltopper defense, but that's Geneva's strength. You know, they're a wing team, T-team as well, and no surprise that they've had good success running the football with their fullback.
Now, to be fair, it's not the same wing tee that Chardon runs.
No one runs the wing tee like Chardon runs it.
No, but it's a variation of something Chardon ran maybe 7-8 years ago. Wilson going to keep, Young going to keep it himself, crosses the 30, but he's just shy of the first down marker. The officials spot the ball right on the 30. He has to get just before the 29. So 3rd and less than 1.
Let's see what the Eagles call here. You have 2 chances if you're Geneva to pick up this first down.
Third and 1. Young may keep it himself. No, he's going to hand it off to the fullback, who looked like he surged ahead. Now he's pushed back.
Forward progress, I believe, is going to be enough here to move the chains. And it is.
Well, the chains will move and the clock continues to run. And we are nearing the end of the first quarter. And if you're an Eagles fan, you've managed to keep the score, or your team has managed to keep the score 21-0. The problem is the Hilltoppers defense has stepped up. Not let you guys get in the end zone. Take the handoff. They're looking to go to the air. They're going to dump it off. It's Pete with the catch. No, he couldn't hang on to it. And Kenny Young took a lick. Boy, he was hit hard by Lazinski.
The other side of that play for Bryce Pete, he got caught looking ahead. He had an easy first down, maybe more there, and he looked up before he secured the football.
That might have been 6.
That was going to be close, that's for sure.
Now 2nd and 10 from the 29. Kenny Young. Basis picking up off the turf, going to throw it over the middle. Incomplete as he was hit again. Toppers continuing to bring the pressure again. It's Lazinski.
And give Kenny Young credit. I mean, he stands in there. He zipped that ball as he was getting hit. He's not afraid to stand in there and take those hits.
He may start to ask his offensive lineman if someone wants to block Austin.
Well, Lazinski's gotten back there.
He's gotten back there in a hurry the last 2 plays. And we saw Austin have a great game against Kenston. Kind of his breakout game defensively. 12 seconds to go here in the 3rd. They will hand it off Wilson. Up across the 20, 15, 10. in the end zone. It's going to be Hayden Deemer. Touchdown, Eagles.
Well, they had passed the ball on 2 straight plays. They go back to the draw to Deemer. Deemer able to go off the left side. Plenty of room there. And he's into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Eagles offense finally cashes in. And Geneva is right back in this game as we head to the 4th quarter.
Pfeiffer out to attempt the PAT. Hold is good, the kick is down. He hit the scoreboard, and it is good. With 4 seconds left to go here in the 3rd, Eagles get a score back, and they trail 21-7.
Well, high school sports are just part of our programming lineup on GTV. Our coverage continues all year long for Cardinal, NDCL, and Chardon sports. We're in our 27th year this year. Check channels 1020 and 1025 and the GTV website, www.geaugatv.org for replay dates and times. Also, don't forget about the community and school bulletin board services provided 24 hours a day on GTV 1020 and 1025. Check www.geaugatv.org for details.
Well, the Hilltoppers, I hate to say it, Ryan, you don't allow good teams to stick around if you've got a lead. And the Hilltoppers did not do that. They were up 21-0 in the 2nd quarter, about midway through. And since then, the offense has just been stuck in neutral.
And they've let Geneva hang around. They let Geneva hang around, and this is a dangerous thing to do. You're at home in a playoff game and you get up 21-0. It's important to kind of put the nail on the coffin. And instead, the Hilltoppers have let Geneva hang around and got a game on their hands here.
Hewitt watches that one go into the end zone, and it will be a touchback.
Now, this is key drive for Alex Henry and this offense here, because you got to get something going. Momentum is on Geneva's side right now, and it's going to stop if this Hilltopper offense could put together a long, sustained drive, end up in the end zone, and really take control back in this game.
Chardon needs to respond here. Bruce trying to get it out around on the jet, no. And now another flag comes out.
Hilltoppers are holding again. The Hilltoppers are struggling to close on that edge tonight, and holding penalties are coming out on that edge right now. And
that's what, number 6?
Geneva's defense made an adjustment on how they were defending midway through that 2nd quarter on that jet sweep, and they've taken that away from the Hilltoppers, and this offense has just been ground to a halt, and they're going the wrong direction again. And really all they're doing is the linebackers are doing a better job of staying home on it. They're not watching players. They're keeping an eye on the football. They know where the football is, and making it very difficult for the Hilltoppers.
So the clock has struck 0, but it cannot end on a penalty. Therefore, it will be one untimed down. Chardon will have a first down, and ball spotted on the 7, so 1st and 23. They're trying to get their players situated. Gallinet going to come out to the near side now and fake it to him. It's Henry on the run right side. Henry breaks one tackle. Henry up to about the 20-yard line. Picks up a good chunk of yards there. And that's a good way to end this 3rd quarter. The Toppers will have a 2nd down and about 10 when we resume. We'll take a timeout and come back after this here on GTV.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by The Chardon Smile Center, Rognac Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ashes Mayfield Window Cleaning Company and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Fourth quarter action beginning. Toppers going to the jet. And it's Caleb Hewitt near side, had his legs taken out from under him. And now a late flag coming out. Looks like a little extracurricular along the Hilltopper sideline.
And the question is, who is this going to get pinned on, or maybe the officials will realize that both sides are involved. We'll find out.
Could also maybe be just a sideline warning.
And it's hard to see where everyone was on the sideline from our angle here. They go personal foul against Geneva, so something was happening on that sideline.
So the Toppers will get a first down.
Come back with a holding call. Come back with a holding call.
First and 10, Chardon down from the 39. Henry dropping back to pass, gonna throw over the middle, looking for Bruce, it's caught! Bruce with the big catch inside the 30-yard line, and the Toppers strike for a big play here early in the fourth.
That is a fantastic throw by Alex Henry. He's got the pressure coming, he knows he's gonna be hit. At that moment, he sees A.J. Bruce is springing free, and he lets that throw go as he gets hit. That was a great throw from Alex Henry.
Maybe one of the best throws we've seen of his career. Bruce gets it again, jet left side, Bruce 20, Bruce 15, Bruce a first down.
And if you're on the other side and you're the Eagles, you're about to get a stop, you commit a personal foul. Alex Henry comes out, throws that pass, the Hilltoppers get a run to the left for A.J. Bruce, and man, that personal foul has really changed where the momentum was in this game.
It feels like a fire has been lit underneath this Hilltopper offense right now.
Well, the personal foul was the first stop, but that big throw by Alex Henry, that will ignite everybody when you can convert on a play like that.
From the 12, first and 10. Hewitt goes in motion. It's Fetchik on the carry inside the 10, down near the 8.
It's amazing how one completed pass like that can open everything up. Now all of a sudden A.J. Bruce is open on the sweep. Now you've got stuff open between the tackles for Fetchik again. And things are opening up, and this offense is moving again.
Fetchik and Hewitt come out from the field. Liebhart checks in. Liebhart going to be the split end left side. Faye, Vuyaklia, and Bruce are running backs. Vuyaklia in motion. They give it to the big man, and Zach Faye does a nice job moving the pile, and Faye inside the 5. Although I believe they're going to say forward progress down to the 5.
Yeah, he drags his way down there to the 5-yard line. Third and short here for the Toppers. If you're wondering if they'd go for it on fourth down or not, I don't see Evans warming up.
No, you need it. You have to go for the TD here. If you want to try to put the Eagles away here and make it, again, a 3-touchdown game. 3rd and 3. The Toppers can pick up a first down from the 5. Bruce in motion. It's Fay again, and Fay very close to that first down.
Where they're spotting him, it's just short of the 3. So it's going to be 4th down and really short.
We saw the Hilltoppers have a 4th down situation, this 4th and goal, earlier on this side of the end zone, and it ended up being a QB keeper by Henry who ran it in.
They did a nice job converting on that one. Got a lot of options, but wouldn't be surprised to see them go to the senior again.
It is Bruce trying to make a cut. He's got the first down. Touchdown, Hilltoppers!
Well, he stopped and turned at the right time, and he got the linebacker to overrun him and give him just enough room to sneak in to the end zone for the touchdown. Big touchdown for the Hilltoppers. We talked about it at the beginning of the drive. It was a drive where the Hilltoppers absolutely needed to score to regain control in this game, and behind your senior quarterback, Alex Henry, who made that great throw to really get things going on the drive. Hilltoppers able to get in, and that's one of the separators when you get into these playoff games is, so much has been made about a young offense, lack of experience, but when your quarterback is a state champion, that goes a long way. And Alex Henry led his team down the field in a crucial drive and was able to regain control of this game.
PAT was good in a personal foul on Geneva. This will be assessed on the kick.
Not sure what the call was there.
So Toppers in control 28-7 at this stage. 9:05 left to go here in the 4th quarter. This will likely allow Sam to boot this one into the end zone for a touchback and alleviate any kind of kick return here.
Well, this is such a big touchdown, too, because the style of play for the Eagles doesn't lend itself to a lot of big comebacks, and they would need to score 3 touchdowns in 9 minutes. You feel like that touchdown really has kind of helped the Hilltoppers lock this one up. Now, a lot of things can happen.
You give up a TD, but you can respond right back. That is so huge.
The problem for the Eagles is pretty much everything they have to do keeps the clock running. Anytime they've tried to air the ball out or make a big play, Hilltoppers have come up 4 interceptions tonight, 3 by Trey Liebhart.
Line drive kick taken at the 1. It's Smith, and Smith to the 15, and that's it.
Well, you like that decision there. You could have settled for the 20, but you feel like you get a kick down there, you might be able to stop them inside the 20, and they do. And officially, close to the 16 is where the Eagles will start this drive. Now let's see if the Eagles offense can keep going here. They found something on the past couple of drives, and they've been able to move the football right down the field. Let's see if the Eagles continue with what they had working for them earlier, but they're going to have to start mixing in some more passes.
The only way that they don't is if they get a score and then a quick turnover, but the Hilltoppers offense has been good tonight in terms of taking care of the football. Eagles start 1st and 10 from the 16. Looks like the old scissor play, and that gains them a loss of about 2.
Not against this defense. We talk about how good this Hilltopper defense is all night long. You got to take the time to run the scissor and be in the backfield for that long against this defense. Well, you end up losing some yardage. That's what they did.
To be fair, anybody runs a scissor play against Chardon, that defense is snuffing it out because they see it in practice.
I was to say, they practice against that scissor play all the time.
2nd and 13 from the 13. Blow snap. Young picks it up, feeling pressure, going to dump it off to nobody. The question was, Ryan, I didn't see any receiver in that area.
Luke Smith was coming. That was where his route was going to end up. He was in the area. I'm not surprised they didn't call it there. I think it's probably a good no call. Smith was definitely, that was his route, and he was getting into the area. So I think it's a good no call, but it still brings up 3rd down and long. And Hilltopper defense can force a punt and get the offense right back out on the field at about midfield here.
Third down for Geneva. Kenny Young going to go with the shotgun. He said 2 receivers right. Now Smith goes in motion. They're going to try to dump it over the middle. Ball is up in the air, incomplete. So many Hilltoppers in such a tight space, and Logan Queen got hit as that play got broken up.
Yeah, they tried to throw it over the middle. They weren't in man coverage, however. So in that zone, there were a ton of defenders right in that area. And fortunate that wasn't picked off were the Eagles.
What a dangerous pass by Kenny Young.
Yeah, that was a tough spot to throw it in, a tough position to put your receiver in.
4th and 13. Rice to punt the football. High kick. And it will bounce straight up and be downed inside the 35-yard line.
Well, they made sure they lined up well inside of the end zone there. So they made sure they were not in the end zone is what I'm trying to say. They made sure they were in the field, weren't in danger of being in the end zone. So that shortened up the snap a little bit, and I think that affected the punt. That ends up really short and great field position for the Hilltoppers now.
Well, if you're the Hilltoppers, take advantage and essentially close this game out with a TD here.
Yeah, this is slam the door time, and you've got a opportunity to do that.
Toppers will give it coming near side, making a good move. On his feet, 20 to the 10, into the end zone. Touchdown, Hilltoppers.
That was Will Francis. Francis checked in at quarterback. He took the snap. He goes to the right and runs all the way in for the touchdown.
His first rushing touchdown of the season. Matter of fact, I don't even know if he had enough carries to even qualify for, he didn't. Enough yards to qualify for minimums on the stat sheet. Huge run by Francis.
They bring Will Francis in there, makes the big run, and Will Francis puts this game on ice for the Hilltoppers, who are now firmly back in control, up by 28.
And Sasarich now will kick this point after attempt. Kick is up, and it is good. Now another flag.
So we'll have to see what this call is going to be from the officials. And while they discuss that, Matt, we'll remind everybody that Toppers up.
Another penalty against Geneva. Beg your pardon.
But Toppers with a big lead, less than 8 minutes left. And GTV will provide live audio-only coverage of Hilltopper football for next week's playoff game on GTV channel 1025. You can listen to the Toppers in the comfort of your own home with the score on the screen. So be sure that you catch all the action if you can't make it to the game by tuning in to GTV channel 1025. We're looking at some other scores around, Matt.
A lot of close games in Division III, Region 9.
Kenston is in control, 24-0 over Cheney. That is the game of most importance to the Hilltoppers, and it looks like we're going to get a rematch of that Week 6 game next week, as the Hilltoppers are going to be playing the Bombers. That was an exciting game between two rivals. The Hilltoppers pulled away late. But it's certainly, for the Hilltoppers, it's going to be running into a team that's very familiar with you in the Bombers next week. Now, neither one of those games are over yet, but it sure looks like that's the direction we're heading, is that rematch next week.
Sasserich will put this one into the end zone.
There's a flag flying down onto the field at the 17-yard line. So how about Riverside up in Division II Region 5, Matt, up 42-14 right now over Nordonia.
So they are cruising merrily along.
They'll get the winner of Hudson and Walsh Jesuit, which was a close game at the half, I believe.
Put some glue on that flag. Block. Hey, make sure you ice your shoulder after the game. You're throwing a lot of love.
That's another penalty against the Hilltoppers, so bring the Eagles out to the 35.
Well, Coach Hewitt certainly will not be happy with the penalties as the Hilltoppers over 75 yards of penalties in this game.
Geneva, for their part, has 50 yards of penalties, so they haven't been great in that regard either. Once again, impressive by the Hilltoppers, the way they've taken control back in this game.
Luke Smith, the carry, trying to get around the end and cannot do it. Maybe gained a yard or two, but again, a lot of Hilltoppers around him. Alexander Ash, one of those guys. Chardon trying to keep up the defensive pressure here with about 7:35 clock, continuing to run. Not a running clock situation, but just normal course of the game. Second and 8. Handoff, Smith. Check that. That was Wilson, the fullback, with the carry, who gets close to that first down marker.
Fullback run has been one of the most successful plays for the Eagles tonight, and they have nice success on it again there. Wilson does a nice job and sets up a third down and short here.
Eagles trailing by 28 in this one. Looking to keep this drive alive. It's likely a 4-down drive. The fullback, no, stop.
Now with only 6:25 left, down by 4 scores, they're going for this. So the Hilltopper defense needs to get one more stop to end this drive and get the offense back out on the field.
Now Wilson picked up 2 more yards on that run, so it'll be 4th down and 2 for the Eagles. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jacob Wilson again carry the football.
Yeah, that's, as we just said, fullback dive has been the best play for them. Give it to your big fullback. Feel like he's your best shot to pick up these 2 yards.
Long snap from Young, and they're going to call a timeout. They were trying to get the Hilltoppers to jump, and a very disciplined Chardon team did not bite.
It's a solid plan A if you're Geneva to not have to run a play there to pick up a first down. Now they're going to have to discuss it and run a play. And as you mentioned, too good a defense, too disciplined a unit from the Hilltoppers to bite and jump there. So the Eagles will head into their huddle and discuss their play call here. Well, hey, each week the OHSAA determines which playoff games can be covered and possibly streamed by GTV. If we are permitted to cover next week's game, our playoff cable telecast will be underwritten by the Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club supporters. The game will be replayed on cable that weekend and may also be live streamed by the Chardon Athletic Department for a one-time fee of $10. Some or all of the proceeds from streaming revenue will go to the athletic department. And you can find the live stream subscription link at www.geaugatv.org or chardonathletics.org.
Fourth down. They give it to the halfback, spun around for a loss. Wow. They went to Bryce Pete, and Pete didn't have a shot.
No, the Hilltoppers were ready for that. They know the run is coming on 4th and short, and you do wonder what we were talking about, Matt. Going to that fullback dive one more time because Pete lost a lot of yardage, and the Hilltopper offense is going to come out 35 yards to go. And you've seen the starting unit for the last time tonight, Matt, but this second unit can get down the field and get into the end zone. They'll start a running clock at the end of this game. How about this, Chardon? 311 yards of offense to Geneva's 113. It's been a dominant performance again by the Hilltoppers tonight.
Bit of a high snap. Prince comes down with it and will take it left side for a gain of about 2.
Most of that Geneva 113 came in that third quarter. It's crazy what the ebbs and flows of a football game are like, because Chardon races out, they're in control. You feel like Geneva's on the brink, and then 2 touchdowns real quick, and Chardon's back in command. You look up, they're basically 200 yards ahead of Geneva in total offense, and everything's under control. It's amazing the ebbs and flows sometimes over the course of a football game.
Prince out. That is still a lot of it's the first team offensive line still in the game. Prince will fake the handoff, go straight ahead, still fighting for yardage. Now a late flag comes out. It looked like he got the first down, but
he was diving ahead for the first down.
Personal foul face mask penalty against the Eagles. It will be a first down no matter what.
I was going to say that where that flag was coming from, it's not usually a hold, and they do get the Eagles. Well, this has got to be a tired Geneva defense. They given up 35 points, but they played well tonight. They're just on the field a lot. Their offense couldn't stay out there enough to help them out.
From the 13, 1st and 10. Prince again up the middle, on his feet toward the 2. Chad doing a nice job running the football.
That's a nice run there by Prince. Picks up 9, brings up 2nd and 1 at the 3, so still pick up a first down, not score a touchdown. The Hilltoppers will be fine with that. You burn off more of this game clock.
He did score a touchdown in the game against Willoughby South. So looking for a second career varsity if he can punch this one in. Did not get it there.
Actually lose a couple of yards, as the Geneva defense knew that a run between the tackles was coming, so they were able to respond to it.
Well, you look at this game, and the defense set the tone with the interceptions. And we saw some great job early on by the O-line opening up some running lanes for the jet, and then for the fullback sweep, or excuse me, the fullback dive.
Yeah, the defense got those turnovers, and the offense did go into neutral a bit in the middle, but they were on all cylinders early and built that 21-0 lead, and Geneva had never been able to bounce back.
Prince stretched his arm out and fell just shy of the goal line. Will be a first down for the Hilltoppers. They picked up the first down. There we go, I can talk. So Chardon will be 1st and goal from basically the inch line.
You know, Chardon is fine coming up short there. You run more of the game clock here. It's now under 3 minutes.
All right, maybe the 6-inch line. Great camera work there by the GTV crew. QB keeper tried it that time again, no. Prince is doing everything he can. He just needs a little bit of a push from his O-line.
You know, the thing is, that's all right. The game clock is moving. The game is coming to an end. You're closing this one down.
You just feel for him. The young man wants to get it in the end zone.
He wants to get in so badly, yes. And he's been just inches short numerous times on this drive.
Oh, so close. Toppers will run it left side. No!
Short, not able to get in.
Starting to see some different numbers appear in this game, including that time the ball carrier looked like it was Beckett Dotson.
Yeah, number 26 running left-handed. You know, everyone wants so badly for Prince to get to finish it off, but you had to do something to mix it up on the defense, so you try to go to the outside. Meanwhile, the game clock's under 1:30, so it's all good.
They do not get the push this time, and the Eagles stuff them. Bring up 3rd and goal.
We're to 4th and goal here, Matt.
Excuse me, 4th and goal. And Ryan, as the clock runs under a minute here, what a job tonight by the Hilltoppers. The senior class, the winningest senior class in the history of Chardon High School when it comes to the football team, defended the hill one final time tonight. They will walk away winners. Just a matter of by how much tonight. They've got a yard to go. And they will take a knee.
No need to try to push it in. That's a good drive. I mean, you burned out the rest of the clock on that drive. That's a good drive to seal off a victory.
Hilltoppers, winners tonight. They advance to round 3, 35-7 over Geneva. Now the Eagles will get one more chance. They do have to. Toppers have to. Geneva has to down the ball. They can't go to midfield right now as they're trying to do to shake hands.
Well, everyone thought the game was over.
Almost.
One more play.
We were on top of it here on GTV. So there you go. Ball marked on the 2. And if you're the Eagles, just likely gonna take a knee inside the goal line and end it here. And they do. So that will do it. The Geneva Eagles, their season comes to an end. The Hilltoppers, they will move on to a date next week at a field, well, to a date, it'll be next Friday night at a field to be determined against their arch rival, the Kenston Bombers, the Battle of Geauga County Part 2. I'm pumped. Folks, we'll take a timeout and come back with more here on GTV.
The Chardon Hilltopper Gridiron Club, in association with GTV, proudly presents Chardon Hilltopper Varsity Football. Today's game is brought to you by the Chardon Smile Center, Roniak Paving, Burr Funeral Home and Cremation Service, El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina, Hazen Asphalt, Paving and Seal Coat, The Arms Trucking Company, Realtor Beth Felger at Keller Williams Realty, Patai and Mark F. Burr Funeral Homes, Dan McCaskey and Terry Combs, the McCaskey Team, Remax Traditions, The Junction Auto Family, Conic Law, LLC, Brock Construction, Precision Orthopedics, Ashes Mayfield Window Cleaning Company and the Chardon Athletic Boosters, and by GTV.
Welcome back, everyone, for the final time tonight here at Chardon Memorial. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you as we wrap this one up. And as we have done throughout the year, we're going to head down to the field now to hear the coaches address the team in postgame.
Seniors, I want to thank you. I wish you could see my heart and see the gratitude. It's been an incredible run. You defended the hill. I remember Coach Hugh was in the hallway trying to get freshmen out so you could have a freshman team. And here you are, undefeated on this turf. Thank you. Congratulations, fellas. Be proud of this. Be very proud of it. Great job.
Hey guys, let's not turn around and look at the scoreboard for a second. Right? The beautiful thing is we just won a second round playoff game, 35-7, and we didn't play very good. Right? So the beauty of that is how much better we can get as we continue to take our next step. Getting better every week, improving on the things. We just won a second round playoff game, 35-7. That's something to be proud of. We got to improve, we got to get better because we got a big game next week.
Coach Landis?
He's coming.
Yeah.
How about that Hilltopper defense? Yeah! Good job, fellas. Hey, we were a little short-handed tonight, right? You guys fought and battled. That was a physically tough football team, and you took it to them. Good job.
Coach Nabs? Nabs is in here? Score, Nabs.
There goes the hammy.
Nabs has got to get to the jungle. Hammy's pulled.
Hey, fellas, we talked pregame. Listen to me real quick. Is that excellence endures, right, forever. And what's forgotten is the cost that it costs to get here. You know what I mean? It's expensive to get here in terms of time, investment, sacrifice, blood, sweat, all the things that it takes for a senior class to win 26 straight at home, which is what they've done, in the winningest class, even though there's not many of them, in the history of the program. A very storied program. You got me? That's quite an accomplishment, okay? As Coach V alluded to, it's 35-7 and we're not satisfied. We have a Kenston team that is greatly improved, and we're going to find a neutral site. It's going to be close to home, and everyone who had the luxury of resting last week, that's over. It's over. All we have left, the sand is draining, fellas. You know what I mean? Boo-boos have to go away. You have weeks left. Maybe days left, right? So it's all hands on deck with everything we have, right, Heath? With everything we have. We got to get better. But you're sitting here, 35-7 winners. You punch yourself a ticket. It's week 13, fellas. I think it's easy to sometimes take that for granted. And I think this week there'll be more juice, more energy, more excitement. And I got to do a better job of preparing you throughout the week. That's my fault. I won't make that same mistake, okay? I'm proud of you seniors, right, Alex Henry? What's your career record? Say it again. So you're going to walk everywhere you go like you're a 26-1 starter. You got me? We go as you go. Break it down.
Yes, sir.
Yeah! You got it, Eddie. Yeah, Eddie. Hey, what's going on?
Ryan, Hilltoppers have been here before. They advance out of week 2, out of round 2, head to round 3 now. The quest continues for 3, but a lot of work will take place this upcoming week.
Yeah, it's a nice win there. You win 35-7. You kind of had that spot in the middle of the game where the offense went into neutral, but they were able to get back on track. A lot of penalties tonight again for the Hilltoppers, and that's certainly something that they're going to want to address. But the defense, stellar again with those 4 turnovers, including 3 Trey Liebhart picks tonight. It was overall a great effort by the Hilltoppers, and they win in dominating fashion.
I just wanted to get this in. Trey does mean 3, right?
It does. You're right. It does. So that's right. Trey interception Liebhart down there.
There we go. Just call him pick or intercept.
Yeah,
we'll figure something out.
We'll workshop it this week. We'll workshop it this week.
I know people.
We'll have it next Friday, yeah.
Again, solid effort by the defense. You can't overlook that, but now you turn your attention toward Kenston and what is the biggest game of the season. Really, every week from here on out, should Chardon continue to win, it's the biggest game of the week. And going to be very interesting to see how things play out next week. We hope that, as we've mentioned, that we'll be able to carry the game for you, and we look forward to covering it if we do get that opportunity. So stay tuned to GTV throughout the week, and we'll have some updates for you. Boy, I want to send out a thanks to our director tonight, Brian Foster, all our camera guys. We had like 3 or 4 tonight, it seemed. Yeah, Lee, Spencer, Chris up top. Brett back at Mission Control, executive producer Dave Jevnikarn. Also for my partner tonight, Ryan Radke. I'm Matt Jaworski. On behalf of all the rest, we wish you all the best.